Let's let the sound of this next bell take us to the deepest place within us. Namaste, friends. It is my joy to introduce our musicians for today, the What Else Is Possible Choir, led by our music director, Jimmy Townsend. Now let's give them some love. Thank you. And let's stand for our first couple of songs. We have lyrics over on to your left.
Good morning. I just want to say, I surrender. Okay, we'd like to slow it down now just a little bit, Elizabeth. I stepped into the flow, and then I let it go. I opened my mind, my heart, and my soul. I stepped into the flow, and then I let it go. I opened my mind, my heart, and my soul. I surrender. I I step into the flow and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I step into the flow and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I step into the flow and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I step into the flow and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. 1, 2, 3, 4. I step into the flow and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I step into the flow and then I let it go. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul. I open my mind, my heart, and my soul.
All right, friends. While you're on your feet, please turn to one another and offer the Namaste greeting. Namaste, namaste. Namaste to our musicians, choir, blessings. Namaste. Namaste, Joy. Joni, I see you. Namaste to our tech team. Brian and Matthew, blessings and love. Namaste to our love streamers. I'm so grateful you're tuning in to experience this amazing service that we have designed especially for you this morning. Namaste to those of you just arriving. Hello, you're right on time, my friends. Right on time. All right. And as you take your seats, please also take a moment to silence your cell phones or whatever noise-making devices you may have. And namaste, beloveds. Namaste. I'm Reverend Elizabeth Rowley Hogue, and I am the spiritual leader here. And I use she, her gender pronouns. And the land upon which we gather is the unceded territory of the Chumash and Salinan people. It is my joy to welcome you to the Awakening Ways Center for Spiritual Living, where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. This service has been designed especially for you. Welcome home. We have been waiting for you. We exist to raise the vibe, and we envision a joyful, happy world. Now, we have an affirmation for today, and I invite you to please repeat after me. I relax. I relax. I trust. I trust. I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led. I relax. I relax. I trust. I trust. And so it is. So it is. Woo! All right, and now we have our pulpit support for today, which is a licensed practitioner, our licensed practitioner, the one and only BJ DiGirolamo. Yay! Thank you, BJ. Such a joy. And as she prepares for that, I'm going to call your attention to the salmon-colored forms that were in the program that you picked up on the way in. And if you didn't pick up a program, no problem. There are some prayer request forms over to my left at the prayer table. And so the invitation, friends, is if there's something that is weighing heavy on your heart for which you would like prayer for, or maybe you're looking to manifest something in your life, like a new car or a new house or that awesome vacation you've been dreaming of. Whatever it is, maybe you're like just feeling grateful and you can share that with us. We have a soul support team, and this is a team of 7 practitioners and ministers who will take your prayer request and pray over them for the week. That is so powerful. And if you leave here today and you're on your way home and suddenly you realize, oh, now I know what I was going to ask for prayer for, no problem. You can email us at info@awakeningways.org with the subject line prayer request. And guess what, love streamers? I see you. That's okay. It was timely. Not really. I don't really see you, but I see you with my inner eye, right? I see you with my inner eye. And I'm inviting you also to send us prayer requests to info@awakeningways.org. And so that actually gets with the subject line prayer requests, and those will get forwarded to our soul support team, who are those doing prayers. And another really cool service that we offer that is free, it's our service to you, right? So we love to pray. The soul support team, it's what we do. That's our thing. We're professional prayers. We're professional praying people, right? And so BJ is going to be available after the service in our prayer nook over here to the right of it. When you go out into the foyer, turn right and you'll see BJ there ready to pray. And she's offering 1-minute miracles. Wow. That's so awesome. If you haven't received a prayer from BJ, I highly encourage you to try it. Today's your day. All right. And then we have practitioner emeritus Kristen Barnhart up here in the front row. She's holding the high watch for the service, and she's in a meditative state. And so thank you, Kristen, for holding this space for us. I can't think of a better person than Kristen to hold that space and anchor this service. And then finally, if you recognize that you've had some prayers with practitioners or ministers and you just want to go a little bit deeper and look at some of the limiting beliefs that have been coming up for you and find out how to transform that, it's deeper than just like a 5-minute conversation, in other words. Then we also have an offering for you to schedule an appointment with either a licensed practitioner or a minister, and it's a spiritual coaching session, and those are 1 hour, and there's a fee to that, and it's a sliding scale. Now, I would really want to be clear that it doesn't mean you can't ask us questions, right? Like, yeah, right? This is something that's a little bit longer, and it's about your commitment to really wanting to transform something. And so that's an invitation, and we're available. If you're in the room and a practitioner or minister who receives this type of calling, will you raise your hand? Yeah, so we've got in the room, we have Gina, Reverend Susan, BJ, myself, and all of the others who also are on the team. Now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to BJ.
Good morning. So I'm going to be doing a reading from our book of the year, which is the 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker, and this is an excerpt from today's reading. And I just invite you to get comfortable in your chair, maybe close your eyes, take the reading in, and as soon as I'm finished, I'll go right into prayer. I face my world with a courage born of my knowledge of God. I am never alone, never deserted, and never without aid. My reliance is on Spirit, who brought me forth to express its life divine. Indwelling in me, there is a center of mind and love, where power awaits my recognition. The inexhaustible action of divine mind is the power of my thinking, and I have the courage to do all things. God in the midst of me is my power and my deliverance from all that would best me. Steadfastly knowing my inner strength, I am no longer appalled at what I need to meet. Challenges change to opportunities, problems to possibilities. Urged forward by divine truth, I proceed into correct action and bring forth right solutions. I am no longer the victim of verdicts, whether they be medical, economic, age, social, or financial. I have but one divine verdict upon me. Spirit declares forevermore that I am its eternal child. That alone is true of me, and knowing this, I have no fear. God's whole mind and love are mine to use for right activities, and I use them with ease. I now erase all opposition within my own thought and am a free and open channel for omnipotence. I face all things with face, cheer, and the expectancy of good. I am a spiritual optimist, for I know that with God's help, everything works together for my good. And so just turning within to that place where I know that Spirit is all that there is, all that there ever was, and all that there ever will be. I know that there is only one light, one love, and one God. And I know that I am absolutely united with this source. It is in, as, and through me, just as it is in, as, and through all living things. And I can never be separate from that which is within me. And so I know that Spirit makes my way before me, perfect and clear in all ways. And I know that I am a perfect, whole, and complete perfect being. And I know if it's true for me, it's true for every individual in this room and every individual watching and every individual on this planet. And so I know today's service is divinely guided. I know that Spirit speaks through Reverend Elizabeth and gives us a seed of awakening to improve our lives and change our thinking for the better. And I know that this day is divinely guided in all ways. And I know that as we commune with each other after service, we see that God light within each other's eyes, and we share that love and friendship together. And it is Spirit seeking out another spirit, and we just love each other up. And so I give great thanks for this day, this brilliant, beautiful, sunny day. Another day to express on this planet just as Spirit designed for me to do. And I'm so grateful for the music that lifts us up and gives us with just a spiritual jiggle within our bodies as we dance to the music. And with great gratitude that I am filled with, I can just release my word into the law, knowing that it's done. And together we claim it by saying, and so it is.
Okay, I'll take that. Oh, we forgot to loop Brian in on the plan for this morning. Thank you. Hi again. Hey, we have a little bit of a different order of service this morning. June is Pride Month, and we have a new membership team, as you know. And so we had a meeting last week, and we were talking about belonging and Pride Month and preferred pronouns. And so we're going to have a couple of our members come on up. So I'm going to invite Lori and Kat up at this point, and they are going to do an insight talk on membership, belonging, and share a little bit about personal pronouns. So let's give them some love. Come on up. You'll need to share the mic.
Well, good morning, everybody. So as Reverend Elizabeth mentioned, Kat and I are members of the membership team, but I also want to acknowledge the other members of our team, which are Mary Bishop, Sue Christian, and Julie Sena, along with Reverend Elizabeth. So we do want to just take a couple of minutes this morning and talk about belonging in this Pride Month. And I'm a big fan of definitions. So I still actually use Webster's dictionary from time to time. So when I looked up the word belonging in Webster's, it has this definition. So possession, usually plural, as in those things that we have as belongings, or a close or intimate relationship. And sentiment Synonyms for belonging include intimacy, kinship, familiarity, friendship. And I'm going to give you a heads up. In a couple minutes, we're going to have a little interaction here, so be prepared. And I want to just share, when I first came to Awakening Waves, which was a little over 2 years ago, when I walked in the door for the first time, I immediately felt a sense of belonging. And I know that some of you have had that same experience. And what came up for me, and how the words that I would use to describe that, was that it felt familiar, even though I'd never been in here before. You're a group of people who were welcoming and open. It's a silly thing, but the name tags actually helped. I didn't have to struggle to figure out like who's who and what all your names are. And there was a kinship that I felt, like a sense of community immediately. So when we started meeting as a membership team many months ago, the very first question we tackled as a team was this idea of, how do we define belonging in this community? And we came up with a list of words, which actually ended up creating our mission statement. But here's the interactive part. So I'd love to hear, what are some words that you all think of, when you think about belonging in this community? Acceptance. Friendship. Family. Supported. Love. Caring. Connection. Compassion. Confluence. We might have to go back to Webster's. Sorry, Joni? Kindness. Happiness. Community. Joy. Safety. Is that what I heard? Yeah. Welcome. What was the other word here? Camaraderie. Yeah. Openness. Embracing. Look at all of you. Like, you don't need us up here, right? So thank you for all of that. Like, my heart just feels like more expanded just hearing these words spoken out loud in this room. So with that, the mission statement that we use to guide our work is this: to consciously welcome and integrate every individual into our spiritual community, fostering a deep sense of belonging and a sacred connection. So we take that as a serious mission when we consider all the things, including those things that are seemingly mundane, like membership update forms, name tags, right? Meetings, like all the things that we do, the handouts. And they're not mundane, they're important. And when Reverend Elizabeth said we had this conversation about name tags, because we're ordering new name tags for those who've already committed to their membership, we had this conversation about pronouns. And what are pronouns? Why do they matter? What do they have to do with this sense of belonging? And we love that we're having this conversation in June when it's Pride Month. So Kat and I, and I'm going to turn this over to Kat, wanted to just talk about that a little bit. And I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. So pronouns are important in that most of us take them for granted, but there's a whole community where pronouns are not taken for granted. And there are people that when they hear the word she, they inwardly flinch. Or if someone hears, it referred to as him, that creates a disjointed feeling. And the reason that we use pronouns and ask pronouns is because we may assume we know what everybody's pronouns are, and yet we don't. If we have pronouns, it may seem obvious to us that I'm a she, her, or actually most people don't realize I'm a she, they, because I don't necessarily feel all the pronouns that require me to perform being a woman. And if we have newcomers who show up, or guests, we've had guests that show up and use alternate pronouns, and it just makes it easier to say, hey, what are your pronouns? Because that's a welcoming way that we embrace newcomers as well, is not assuming we know who they are. Also, just to mention about name tags and why I love name tags. When I moved to San Luis Obispo, I wore a name tag everywhere I went for the first 6 months. Because there's a guy who's like known as the name tag guy, you can Google him, and he has a name tag on everywhere because it's an invitation of familiarity. It's an invitation of getting to know people. And while I think everybody knows who I am with my blue hair now, there was a time when people didn't know who I was, and I felt like a stranger. And when we all wear name tags, it invites the people who don't have their name known in the community to learn names.
So you figured out this is an invitation about name tags. And just the way that when we use our name tags and have our pronouns, it is a welcoming gesture for other people. People aren't having to try to figure something out about us. We've already opened ourselves up to other people. So thank you for being in this spiritual community that's committed to that.
Thank you. All right, friends, it's now time for our third song. So let's go ahead and stand up and turn to the left. We've got some song lyrics up there for you, too. Woohoo! Cool. Oops.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you got to say. I release and I let go. I let my spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. I release, I let loose. I release, I release. I release, and I let go. Release. I release, and I let go. Release. And I let go. I release. I release, and I let go. I release, and I let go. I release, and I let go.
Wow, that was awesome. Let's give them a whole lot of love, you guys. Come on. Woo, Frank and the whole choir. Amazing. Oh, and by the way, can we give some love to Lori and Kat too? Woo! Yeah. And BJ. Thank you so much, friends. Wow, what a great morning. Woohoo! We could just be done now and totally filled up, right? My cup is full. Thank you, friends. Perfect songs, perfect insight talk, perfect day. It's another perfect day. God is good. God is so good. Our Seed of Awakening for June is spiritual surrender. And I want to start by asking, what is the difference between your experience of existence and that of a saint? The saint knows that the spiritual path is a sublime chess game with God, and that the beloved has just made such a fantastic move that the saint is continuously tripping over joy and bursting out in laughter saying, I surrender, I surrender. Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid that you still think you have 1,000 serious moves. That's Hafez. Thank you, Hafez. What a great way to kick this off, right? Isn't that true, though? Do you think you have some serious moves? Yeah, right? It's like, it's so much easier to surrender. And thank you to our music director, Jimmy, and our choir musicians for the perfect song arrangement for today. And I'm looking forward to an amazing month of surrender. And we have this outstanding, outrageous book of the month this month called Outrageous Openness by Tasha Silver, yeah. And oh my goodness, it's another one of those books where, for me, I also got the Audible because it's so good. And listening to it, and then it's one where you listen and then you start thinking about, it's so inspiring in the moment that there's thinking about it, and for me, remembering my own stories and really connecting with it, and then I have to rewind and re-listen to it because I'm like, now where was that? I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But this month, friends, we're exploring this transformative practice of spiritual surrender. Now, oftentimes we just hear surrender, right? Surrender. And that feels like bring your white flag up and I surrender, like I'm defeated, resigned, and maybe cynical. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about spiritual surrender, which is to turn it over to Spirit and not something outside of yourself. You're not turning it over to somebody else, some other person, but you are surrendering. We are surrendering to the divine that lives within us as we recognize that, thankfully, there is a higher thing happening than my own small self. There is a higher self that lives within me. And as I surrender to that, I really begin to experience this amazing oneness with all of life. And I get to court the divine, and I get to move in synchronicity in my life, which is a beautiful thing, isn't it? And that's what we're talking about this month. So together, we're exploring surrender not as resignation or defeat, but as a joyful, conscious choice. It's an active, alive openness that moves us out of struggle and striving and into greater trust, ease, and alignment with the greater intelligence of life. Right? Did you say whoa? And so the philosophy of Ernest Holmes tells us God can only do for us what it can do through us. Okay? I'm going to repeat that. God can only do for us what God can do through us. And so we are a vessel, each one of us, a vessel of divine intelligence, a vessel of divine love. We are a vessel, and so we move into this place and space where we can say, use me, Spirit, use me, right? What is mine to do? What is mine to be? And it's really this movement into that third kingdom of consciousness, which is through me, right? So there's the four kingdoms. As a reminder, we've got the four kingdoms are like, imagine a box, and there's four squares, and it's kind of reminds me of the grief process where you don't go step, step, step. It's kind of in a flow, right? You go in one area and up and over, and then you go to the side, and you go back diagonally. So it's the four kingdoms of consciousness. The first kingdom is, or stages of spiritual awakening, if that makes more sense to you, right? 4 stages of spiritual awakening. We first, when we aren't really aware, we come into a teaching like this thinking, life is happening to me. Life is happening to me, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's just the way it is. And that is considered victim mentality, right? That's the victim stage. And then you hang out with us for a little bit, right? You take Foundations, baby, hear a couple of sermons, and you recognize, oh, I actually can I can co-create my experience. I have influence on how my life is going to go. I can manifest, right? And you hear so much about manifesting out in the world, yeah? And so you discover that you can manifest things. In the science of mind, they call it princes or princesses, palaces, and parking spaces, right? And so there's practice. You learn this tool, and then you put it into practice. And when it happens, it's a reinforcement or a strengthening of that belief. And so now you know, oh, well, I'm not a victim. I can manifest. And then you move into the next stage. And this is what we're going to talk about today, which is that stage of having Spirit work through us, which means I'm not a victim. I know how to manifest, and I trust the divine, and I'm led by it, and it lives within me, and I can do it. I can do this. And we practice it, right? And so the author of our book of the month says, eventually, the individual's the individual ego's drive to make things happen falls away, replaced with a relaxed and trusting openness to answers as they spontaneously arrive. Yeah, it's beautiful. Arise. And what a great mantra, I thought. Relax, trust. Relax, trust. And we talked a lot about that all last month, right? Remember the whole puzzle thing, and you go to a puzzle and you're trying to figure it out. I got to figure this out. I got to figure it out, right? and then you let it go, and you come back and you look at the puzzle, and the word's just right there. Like you had it all along. You had it all along. So you have the answers within you. We all have the answers within us, and we've had it all along. And God does not provide a vision for us in our lives without a provision. You get what that means? God does not provide a vision without a provision. And so if there's a vision for something that we're to experience in our lives, then there is a way to do it. We just haven't quite seen it yet, And but we can be open. And so this book is really teaching us how to be open and how to turn to the divine and trust and practice. Trust and practice and relax. And I love another thing that she says right out of in maybe the first paragraph or first chapter, the very act of grasping for the feather creates the wind current that pushes it away. Right? And I had this image in my mind of just a little, like a white little feather, and it's right here, and then, but just doing that pushes it away, unless you're real fast, like Tom, you can catch it. But think about that. The very act of grasping creates the wind current that pushes it away. And so the invitation is not only for us to surrender, but there's no need to grasp, and attach and try to keep the thing. You know what I mean? Because another thing is going to come along in your life, in my life. It always does. That's the nature of it. And so I want to speak briefly about this idea. If everybody will join me and just clench your fists for a moment. And imagine, if we approach any aspect of our lives with clenched fists, then we aren't open to receive. We aren't open to receive guidance or money or love or trust or faith or whatever it is. Like if I have something I want to give to you, Travis, you can't take it. And now open your hands. There's a receptive sense in that, right? You can even feel it went from hot to cool, hot to cool. And so this is our invitation this month and also this week to really put this into our spiritual practice. You can start with your hands clenched and then just open your hands and have that be something that you do for like 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. And then go into your prayer and meditation or whatever that is and just feel that opening and feel that receptivity to what the universe is offering us. Because it's offering us constantly, And as we pay attention to the divine guidance, we do receive the answers that we're seeking. And we can't be in solution if we have closed fists. The closed fists keep us in the problem. Now, coming back to the feather, right? Consciousness over conditions. What to do with the feather instead is to open your hand and let the feather fall into it, because it will. It will. Maybe you want to have 2 hands out there for a wider space. But be careful, don't put it out too fast, right? Just put your hand out and let it gently fall into it. Oh, that feels so good, doesn't it? I just can feel that in my body. I love it. Now, I want to share a story with you that there once was a very hungry monkey who loves monkeys, by the way? I know, right? There was a very hungry monkey who discovered a hollowed out gourd that was securely tied to a tree. And inside of the hollowed out gourd was a handful of sweet, shiny peanuts. And eagerly the monkey pushes its hand through the narrow opening and clenches those nuts into a tight fist. And he tries to pull it out. However, the opening is just large enough for an empty, outstretched hand, but much too small for a closed fist, bulging with peanuts, right? And so the monkey starts to panic, tries to pull his hand out, pulls and tugs and screams. Imagine in your mind's eye, ah, ooh, ah, right? He's terrified he's going to lose these peanuts that he has claimed. Ah! All the while, there's a farmer approaching, and he knows, and he sees that, wow, the monkey could escape safely in an instant, but it steadfastly refuses to open its hand and let go of the prize. And so for us, my friends, the peanuts are our attachments. The peanuts, are the attachments that we hold within us. And only you know what those are. A rigid plan, a past hurt, the illusion of perfect control. And when we clutch these things so tightly that we cannot let go, we remain emotionally and spiritually stuck. And you now have the visual of a monkey trying to pull his handful of peanuts out of that gourd. That's what we're like, right? And we get stuck, and then suddenly along the way, maybe we recognize that true peace will actually come for us when we realize that the only way to be free and to catch new opportunities is to voluntarily open our hands. Open our hands and trust that there's peanuts elsewhere or somebody's going to dump them out for you, right? It's that trust, right? And friends, this reminds me of Michael Singer's philosophy. For those of you who have ever read, I know that most people have probably read The Untethered Soul, right, by Michael Singer. And so he has a philosophy of let go now or fall, which centers on the concept of spiritual surrender and means choosing to actively release your internal resistance and negative emotions as they arise, rather than falling into the trap of clinging to them like the monkey with the peanuts and allowing fear, control, or anxiety to dictate your life. Are you with me? Yeah. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful lesson. Now, I also want to share something else that I read this week, which was about a grandfather. There was a grandfather who sat at the edge of a village, and he was really well known for his wisdom. And he was also well known for this small, beautiful stone that he kept hidden in his robes. And one day, a wary traveler approached him, seeking wealth. Now, the grandfather reached into his cloak and pulled out a magnificent, flawless diamond. Wow, the largest diamond the traveler had ever seen. And the grandfather said, "Take it, it's yours." He was offering it freely. And so the traveler, of course, said, "Well, thank you. Thank you." And his heart was like racing with so much joy, and he walked away. And days later, the traveler returned and found the grandfather and handed the diamond back to him. And confused, the grandfather said, "Well, what brings you back?" And the traveler replied, "I have been thinking, and I know how valuable this stone is, but I also know the immense power and wealth that it represents. I return it to you because I want to ask for something even greater. Give me the mindset that allowed you to give me this diamond so easily." Wow, right? Give me the mindset that allowed you to give this diamond away so easily. And of course, the grandfather smiled. The true treasure was not the gem itself, but the open hands that then allowed the grandfather to receive it back, right? Open hands. I love this story so much. The grandfather served as the living example of surrender and outrageous openness. He did not hesitate. His giving flowed freely from his inner state, right? And the traveler was very courageous in returning the diamond as a powerful act of detachment, yeah? And so he realized there was something more valuable and more important at stake, which was the mindset that allowed the grandfather to give his diamond away so freely. So this is what we're doing here, my friends. This is why I'm sharing this story. This is exactly what we're doing. We're teaching a mindset here, sharing personal stories about the way we have used these laws and tools in my life, and whoever comes up and shares, right? It's a mindset. There's a collection of beliefs and attitudes and habitual ways of thinking that actually shape the way that we move through the world, that shape the way we interpret the world, that shape the way we perceive ourselves, that shapes the way we react to situations, and we have an influence, right? So this teaching is like a mental filter or a lens to look through to influence your decisions, emotions, and overall behavior in daily life. It's a beautiful thing because just like glasses, you know, we can try them on. And if we don't like the results, we take them off. It's fine, you know? But I think that is the key for us that opens up the door, especially if we're someone who can be cynical or doubtful. The idea is that it's a mindset. And consider the open hands and the diamond of that spiritual surrender with the grandfather. The mindset. Give me the mindset that allowed you to give that away so freely. Now, a lot of people experience this, right? So a lot of people are experiencing, they come into this community. And I remember one person, I'm not going to call them out, but they can laugh really loud if they want to. Wasn't Travis. He just laughed. Someone came into the community and was like, yeah, I just came in and there's so much joy, and I'm wondering, why is everyone so happy? Mindset, right? And then, they stick around and then they catch the mindset. And at first it's like, what? It feels a little funny, right? To be so positive and to have such an optimistic, spiritual, amazing viewpoint that anything is possible, to really actually believe in yourself and to believe in a divine presence that is rooting for me, But we try it on. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah, well, this works, okay. And then the next thing comes along, and then the class, and then, and life is blooming the entire time. Has this happened for anyone? Raise your hand. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. All right, so I love it. Now, coming back to our book of the month. This book of the month is so amazing, and this is a book that someone dropped into my bag or on my desk or something at some point, and with a little note that said, oh, this is a great book. And I'm going to say it was Lori. And she is right. This is the best book ever. This is one of those books that is like, has she been reading my journal? Remember another book that was like that was the Pam Grout book. Remember that one? Think and Grow Rich. Woo! This is another one of those books. And that's why the Audible, I got the Audible and the Kindle and the Audible, and then I start thinking about things because I'm so inspired, like, yes, exactly, I get that. Only I call it this or something, And then I got to rewind it and re-listen. It's such a beautiful book, my friends. I'm not getting commission from the sales of the book, by the way. But in our book of the month, the author tells us that Florence Scovel Shinn, who is one of my favorite authors also, says that events will appear in divine order by divine law without delay. That's one for you to try on, right? Events will appear in divine order by divine law without delay. She also Florence Scovel Shinn also says, your word is your wand, right? Your word is your wand. And so understanding that your word is your wand actually grants you creative power to shape your reality through affirmations, transforming negative circumstances into joy, health, and abundance. By consciously choosing your words, you command the ability to manifest desires and overwrite limitations in your life. I'm going to say that again. You have the power to overwrite limitations. You have influence. There's an influence that you have, but we've got to consciously choose our words. We command the ability to manifest desires and overwrite these limitations. Seeming limitations, right? Abracadabra. We had wand-making gourmets for God, and that's like, yeah, that's a physical instrument where you go abracadabra or whatever it is, And now you can imagine I create. So abracadabra means I create with my word. I create with my word, abracadabra. My word is my wand. You get that? Powerful, right? That's why the conversation about be careful what your conversations are about. And I think it's not be careful, it's more be mindful. What are you saying to your friends? What are you saying to others in the community? What are you saying to your beloved or your kids or, your workmates? What are you saying? Because what you're saying is creating your experience, literally. So that is one really good thing that we can take away, if anything. My word is my wand. Now, recognizing this concept unlocks some specific powers according to Florence Scovel-Shinn. And the first is reality transmutation. Right. You hold the authority to flip negative experiences. I've heard people say, I got to flip the script. That's what we're talking about. You can flip a negative experience like lack or illness by speaking positive, vivid affirmations that direct your subconscious mind. You have influence, is what I'm saying. You have influence, right? And the next is emotional mastery. By controlling our speech, our language, we stabilize our emotional nature and prevent fear, doubt, and anger from dictating our physical or mental well-being. You have influence, is what I'm saying. You have influence, right? The third is immediate supply. You can clear fogs of limitation by giving thanks for your desired outcomes as if they are already present, aligning with the belief that your needs can manifest instantly. You have influence. And lastly, unwavering faith. You learn to rely on fearless faith, acting as though you have already received your desires, and then you watch the barriers vanish. The barriers vanish as you approach. You have influence in your life. In fact, I would dare say you are the greatest influencer of your life. Other people, what they're saying and doing, have no power over you. Sometimes we let it though, right? But they have no power over you. Conditions have no power over you as you take dominion in your life. All right, so in our book of the month, oh gosh, what time is it? What's happening here? It's like 11. Okay. Last story. The author shared a story about when she was in 9th grade, and she and her friends played a certain game for months on end. No matter what someone said, they always added the words during sex to the end. I said sex. Everybody's like, what? For example, she loves to eat anchovy pizza during sex. Or he always forgets to do his math homework during sex. Or she loves talking on the phone during sex. And she said that, right? It's still funny. For whatever reason, it never failed to send them into these gales of hysteria. But then again, they were 14. I just love that so much, and it reminded me of a similar game that we played in 9th grade, but it was a little different. We didn't say during sex. I was thinking, wow, they were real risque. But we added in bed to the end of reading a fortune cookie, right? Reading a fortune cookie. He who knows he has enough is rich in bed. And we thought that was hilarious. All things are difficult before they are easy. In bed. Don't pursue happiness, create it in bed, right? It's still funny, isn't it? But the beautiful, most, just wow, I was in awe with I had never heard this before. The beautiful next part of that is it shows up differently nowadays, she said. There's a new version, I'm getting God bumps. There's a new version of this. Instead of adding during sex or in bed to the end, consider, someone might rush to discourage a goal that you have. Anybody ever experienced that? Or they may tell you how exhausting or futile your attempt to accomplish that project may be. Or they may just say something self-critical or negative or cynical about themselves or their lives. I know we've all heard that. But the revised version invites us to add without God to the end. For example, gas prices are going up, and we're going to run out of money. Without God, you'll never be able to find the right job in this economy. Without God. Or you'll never be able to find parking out there without God. It changes it, right? Now we have this awesome tool that we can use in our interactions with others. So she shared that she was stuck on a book proposal and met a friend who shared that she could help her with this project to get her book proposal complete. And she said, it'll take us about 30 hours and I will charge you $250 an hour. And the author gasped and was like, wow, are you kidding me? That's over $7,000. And then she remembered and said, well, that's what a book proposal costs without God, right? So she sat in her car and had a conversation with the divine, affirming that if it was hers to do and meant to be, that the doors would be flung open with the right support in the right and perfect time. And then, within a month, a writer friend emailed her one of her own proposals and suggested, why don't you just create your proposal using mine as a map? And it'll go really fast. And it did, because she used it. Now we have this amazing book. Yay! That's awesome, right? And then it's one last really small thing. So I was listening to this audiobook yesterday morning, and I heard her say, everything comes and goes, even that which feels the most familiar, all eventually melts back into the ocean of existence like the iridescent multicolored sands of Montelus. I thought, what's Montelus? Maybe Travis and I can visit these beautiful sands of Montelus. Curiosity got the best of me, so I opened up Safari on my iPhone and searched for the iridescent multicolored sands of Montelus. And I found the most stunningly gorgeous real-life rainbow mountain that is in Peru. And so, of course, I thought, well, how timely. This is Pride Month. Maybe I can put it up on the screen. It's absolutely perfect. I didn't do it. Rainbow Mountain. Rainbow Mountain. Like, how does that? Love God, right? I mean, I love God anyway, but... So then I needed to go back and rewind a little bit to finish that section. And I discovered that she was actually saying, everything comes and goes, ... like the iridescent multicolored sands of mandalas. Not Montelus. The way she was enunciating it, Montelus. That's what I heard. And so I'm sharing this because this is a very instructive lesson for us all, right? Sometimes maybe we hear things that aren't the thing that's being said. Montelus? What's that? Yeah, right? No, mandalas. Oh, that makes perfect sense. And so the invitation is when you feel that happening within Montelus, something like that, right? Maybe it wasn't heard correctly, and we can ask for clarity, and we can ask, could you please repeat that? And not get mad when somebody asks us to repeat something, because we're talking about mandalas and they heard Montelus, right? What is that? You know? So I don't know. I was just like, wow. How many times have I thought one thing was being said and found out later it was something totally different? And before that, I created a story in my head around that specific thing, which wasn't even true to begin with. That is grasping at illusion. And that's an illusion of control, right? Grasping at illusion. And what glory and victory do we feel as we recognize it was just an illusion? It was just a mirage. I'm not really driving into water. Right? Wow. I found it comforting. So the conclusion and call to action for today is to think about the parable of the monkey and the peanuts and consider what You might be mentally gripping so tightly that you can't see the forest for the trees, that you can't get your hand, and you're creating a struggle, And what story or belief are you holding on to that is not the truth with a capital T? And think about the rainbow sands of Monteluz. It's time to stop trying to play God and place our trust in the divine instead. And remember, friends, grasping at the feather creates the wind current that pushes it away. Just open up your hands. Open your hands and let it fall right into place. And you can practice that, right? Add that to your spiritual practice. Even if you don't clench at first, just open those hands. And remember, your word is your wand. And we have a spiritual surrender calendar that you can pick up on the table after the service, and we're sending it out via e-news. And there's a link to the website if you prefer that. And that's it, my friends. Let's turn our attention inward for a very brief spiritual mind treatment. I turn within and return to the beautiful, expansive space where I know and remember with every fiber of my being that spirit is all that there is. Yet the musicians, please come on up and get ready for your closing song. Apologies. And I'll try that again. Spirit is all that there is. It is here right now, expressing itself in me, as me, through me, expressing itself in, as, and through all of us. The entire manifest universe is the body of God. And right now, in this moment, at this time, I remember the truth of this. This is the reality that I experience. And I know that Spirit is so good, so mighty, and so magnificent that it has birthed itself into existence as me and as each one of us. And I have come here to live and love and be all that I came here to be. And I take dominion in my life. Conditions have no power over me. What other people think of me have no power over me. The cynic in me has no power over me. The doubter has no power over me. I take dominion in my life, and in doing so, I see the beauty of love. I know that I am spirit-led, and I allow myself to follow along. The small me follows. I let the divine take the lead, in other words, and I am now like the saint, tripping over joy, saying, I surrender, knowing that the beloved is making the best moves in my life. And I'm grateful. And so with great gratitude, I release my word, knowing this is true for all of us. I let it go and allow it to be, and so it is. So it is. Woo!
If your problems won't go away and you're worried night and day, hand it over. Close your eyes and pray. If you're sick, feeling down, got no money, got nowhere to go, hand it over. Open up your heart and pray. Hand it over, hand it over, hand it over, hand it over. Give it up, give it over, hand it over. Raise up your hands and pray. Raise up your hands and pray. Ain't no mountain that you can't climb. Ain't no answer that you can't find. All you need is a hand to hold. It'll hold your body and feed your soul. If the road is dark and you can't find your way, just let Spirit light the day. Hand it over. Put your feet on the ground and pray. On the ground and pray. Oh, there ain't no mountain that you can't climb. Ain't no answer that you can't find. All you need is a hand to hold. It'll heal your body, feed your soul. If the road is dark and you can't find your way, just let Spirit light the way. Hand it over. Meditate and pray. Meditate and pray. Hand it over. Hand it over. Hand it over. Hand it over. Give it up. Give it over. Hand it over. Open up your heart and pray.
Woo! Yeah, look at that standing ovation, Jim. And everyone, thank you. Beautiful. Wow. Wow, oh wow. All right, friends, it's now time for our conscious giving. Will our ushers please come forward? And this morning we have Kat and Jen. Thank you so much. Let's give them some love. She's double duty, triple duty, huh? All right, my friends, if you're tuning in on the live stream and you would like to make a donation, you may do so by going to paypal.me/awakeningways. And in the room also, if you forgot to bring your check or cash. And also you could, if you have your smartphone, scan the QR code here on the back of the program and make your donation that way. Of course, if the service has inspired you in any way. All right, and so we do have a giving affirmation, and I invite you to please repeat after me, taking your gift and placing it over your heart or your hand. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world. It does great work in the world. And returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. So it is.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my source. So I give
And so I do give great thanks for everything in this basket, and I just bless it as it goes forth from here throughout our community. I just know that Spirit is guiding and directing the flow of each and everything in this basket, and it's all for good, and so it is.
Beautiful. And now we have our children, so we'd like to invite Sonia and our youth to come on up. Let's give them a little musical entrance. And as they make their way up here, yeah. Woo! Yay! We have Xander, Archie, and Elani. Woo! And Sonia. Sonia, oh, thank you so much. I just want to acknowledge you and the beautiful work that you do with our youth, and we're just so grateful for you. Can we give Sonia some love? Yeah, you're amazing. Thank you.
They're really a pleasure, though. It's really, yeah. Let's move right up here. So today, we just enjoyed all the surprises and gifts of life. We enjoyed friendship together, playing together. We talked about goals, actually. Goals is what came up. So in making a goal, how you approach the goal, if you come close to the goal, if you're far from the goal, how to adjust the goal, and how wonderful you are when you accomplish the goal, right? So how the power of our thought and the power of our minds, how you have to see it, and then it becomes. And if your goal is too low, then you raise the bar. So Alani has our affirmation, and I think one of us might have something to say after.
One kind word can change someone's day. You are great, and you are in love with all of your heart and mind.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, thank you very much.
Wow, thank you. And you should have seen the proud grandfathers over here getting it on video. Beautiful, thank you, Sonia, and thank you, Xander, Alani, and Archie. Woo! Thanks so much. It's now time for our announcements, and our announcements angel for today is Jim Peterson. Woo!
Are you going to sing them?
Please sing the announcements with that voice. Darn it, one day we'll get him to.
You got to tell me ahead of time. Okay, good morning. You know, there are 5 ways to stay in the know of all the happenings around our community. Number 1, the monthly purple page inserted in your programs. You know about these things, right? But as a reminder. 2, the calendar page on our website. Don't forget that, it's got it all. 3, the weekly emails. 4, announcement slides on the screen to your left. And what was the 5th one? Oh, the info and sign-up tables on your right. Okay, so we're going to just include some of the things that are happening because it would take too long. Number 1 for that, this fall we're launching a Wisdom Well workshops. These are inviting members of our community to donate their time and talents by leading these fun, inspired workshops. They will be on a Saturday, I assume? Yeah. And it's between August, so we're going to start in August and run all the way through next winter up to March. This is for you. Whether you enjoy painting, gardening, or this is journaling, photography, meditation, someone wrote this, cooking, movement, or something completely different, we'd love to hear your ideas. These community-led workshops, it could be an individual, and I suppose maybe a group doing this, are opportunities for all of us to learn and connect and grow with each other. So, by the way, the funds, 100% that we raise from the donations that you all give for these things go to the center. So that's important. Applications are starting today right over at the table here. And so if you have questions, just see Reverend E about that.
Also, this week on Thursday, June 11th, is the Women's Connection Circle at 6 o'clock till about 8:30 at the center. Next Sunday, June 14th, is Atascadero Pride in the Park right here. I'd like to invite Gina to come up to talk about that just a little bit.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I'll just be brief. First of all, I want to say thanks to Lori and Kat for starting off our first Sunday of Pride, talking about what you did, and it really inspired me about belonging. We've got 3 events coming up. Next Sunday is the first one, welcoming all volunteers and just visitors to come by the booth and support and just be joyful. We have another set of events that are happening at the end of the month. Saturday the 27th is Slow Pride in the park, in the plaza down in San Luis Obispo. And then Sunday is Trans Pride in the park at Meadow Park in San Luis Obispo. If we just get like maybe 2 more volunteers, that would be great. There's a sign-up sheet over there, and that will just allow us to really, each one of us can just spend the amount of time that we want to. You could be there all day if you like. That would be great too. But I just want to say something about belonging, Lori. For me, when I first came out, I was living in New York City. And the very first gay pride I ever went to was the most amazing thing I'd ever been at. I was working in New York. I was out on a balcony on 5th Avenue, down in closer to the Village, and I was waiting for it to happen, and I had no idea what to expect. And I was looking up 5th Avenue, and all of a sudden I just saw this mass of people and this enormous flag that was being carried. And as it approached, I got more excited, and I went down into the crowd, and I never felt like I belonged more than I did that day. And from that moment forward, I knew I had found a family wherever I went. And so the point of me saying this is there's going to be people who come to these events. It's going to be their very first time, and they're going to need to feel like they belong. And I know that this community is so good about opening their hearts, whether we're in this room or out in the community. So thank you for making us all feel like we belong.
Well, Awakening Ways and Reverend Elizabeth, however, are featured in the CSL Goodness Campaign, which is going on, and it was in the May issue, but since that magazine publishes 2 months at a time, the June issue is here, and you are, I think, we've got some left for you. Okay, you can still get that. So pick up your copy today. It's $12, but it's 2 months worth. And check this whole thing out, CSL Goodness Campaign. You can also pick up the book of the month, which it has been talked about, Outrageous Openness. That book is $10, and it sounds really, really good. And finally, give it up for all the volunteers and the people who make this thing happen.
Thank you. All right, let's circle up for our benediction and call and response. Okay. Come on in. Yep. Whoa. Easy, easy. All right, yes, let's move to the back so we don't exclude any musicians if we can, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes. All right, my friends, won't you know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now and always. And all that we ever need to do is turn within. And it is here we will find we are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
Something wonderful is happening as me right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my body. Life is in my pocketbook. Life is in my relationships. Life is everywhere. I think it. I feel it. I express it. I believe it. I accept it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.
May I be filled with love and kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be filled with love and kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. May we be filled with love and kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. I surrender,